This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome in to another edition of the Wrecking Crew right here on MVP Sports. And Tim, I am joined with my co-host, Tim Shaw. Tim, how we doing?
We're doing okay. We've been a lot better, but, you know, long days of the season, right?
These are what I call the dog days of the MLB season, where fandoms are tested. Also, Tim, I feel like I'm a little bit out of practice because you want to know the last time I did a podcast for MVP?
I would assume recently.
The last time we recorded, that was the last podcast for MVP.
Get the heck out of here.
So the schedule has kind of worked perfectly. We'll do a little like banter and then we'll get into it. Don't worry. The schedule's kind of worked out perfectly to where the three podcasts we have going right now are Heel Talk, The Wrecking Crew, us, and then the Draft Room for NBA. They all happen on the same week. They're all like, it's a Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and then Saturday. They're all scheduled on the MVP's calendar for the same week. So it's pretty much week of shows, no week of shows. Week of shows, no week of shows. We will have live streams and stuff. Tim and I are going to do some more baseball games. I got some cool things, like maybe a little bit of a scoreboard. Ooh. So that people can see the score and not have to watch the game. We're also going to be live for the NBA draft, so we'll have some live content as well. Soapy and I are going to be live for NXT Battleground tomorrow. So, yeah, we're going to be live too and have more content for you. Before we get into everything with the Cubs, quick housekeeping. Number one, if you're not in the Discord, get in the Discord right now.
I don't know what you're doing if you're not in the Discord. It's silly.
It's the best community in the universe. You can talk to us. You can talk to all the MVP fans.
All the cretins like us.
Does it get a little chaotic? But yeah, that's what a family is. That's what a family is, Tim. You get a little chaotic.
It becomes sometimes it gets a little contentious. But what would we call that, Rick? It would be something like a
Discord.
A Discord, right?
A Discord. That's what it would be. Also, you can get our Patreon link down below. Great perks like watching the show live right now. You could be like Soapy. Soapy doesn't have to pay because he's a part of MVP, but you could become a patron. At the very least, you can watch the shows live. We got great perks on that page. Whoa, Tim's like, hold up, player.
I'm turning my camera off. I'm not doing the show unless...
Oh, you can also go ahead, check out BETUS, sponsor the show. You'll hear about them later. All of our socials, Tim, mine, MVPs, down below. Check us out, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already and leave a comment down below because this is going to be an episode where, Tim, I'm just going to start off and ask you the simplest of questions.
Oh.
Did we overrate the Cubs? Did we overrate this team and basically took the highest of highs and take this team for granted? Did we take the good times for granted?
we might have done that. Based on how well we're doing this year, we might have slightly over-exaggerated the talent of this team and the influence that Mr. Craig Counsell has on the lineup and roster moves and pitching rotations, and it doesn't seem like we're on the same planet as what they're playing on when we make predictions about their future records.
Yeah, I don't even remember what mine were, but I know I was dead off these last 2 weeks. I was dead off.
Yeah.
Tim, for two straight weeks, I was spot on. And then the Cubs did what they did.
You were nailed. That's why I was hoping, because I think I don't remember what they were either, but I believe I was a little under you. I had fewer wins than you, and I was going, oh well, Ricky's been nailing it for 3 weeks straight. I hope that he's correct here, not me. I think they did even worse than I did, but or I had suggested. It's getting weird. It's getting weird. Like we didn't lose much from last year. It seems like we gained more than anything. Call it a slump, maybe? Or is this indicative of what we're in tune for the rest of the season?
I hope it's not what we're in tune for. And like, I'm looking at the schedule right now, Tim, and the first week since our last podcast, which was, we did it weird. We didn't do it on a Saturday because so I had my girlfriend coming in for Memorial Day. You were going on a vacay with the family. So we did it on a Friday. But even looking back at it, that would have been the 27th? No, not April. I'm in April. May, what was it? 25th, I want to say. Yeah, May 25th.
I think we did it on a Wednesday, actually. I think we were on the 29th.
Did we? Because looking back 2 weeks ago was May 25th. It was right before the series with the Cardinals. Because I remember originally we were going to do a live stream for that Cardinal game 1. Got postponed. Then we're like, we got to do the podcast on Friday. Pretty much since that point, like, we only won 4 games, and 2 of them don't count because they're against the White Sox.
Correct. And
we should have. Let's be honest. We should have lost those games. Like those were games where. Is it weird that we beat what? Is it weird that we won those games both 7-6?
Those were those flirtatious games that'd be like, hey, come on, you still like the Cubs, right? Come on, we're being a little cute here. Let's win in the bottom of the ninth.
I just looked at it now. It's just like really, we're gonna lose to the White Sox. The White Sox team. I got to see them live the day after we recorded our last podcast. And guess what? I can firsthand tell you the White Sox are not good this year. Firsthand account that they're not good.
Hot take, everybody.
But no, like, this is the thing with this team. Is this stretch going to be indicative, like you said, of things to come? I hope not. And the thing that's worse about it, Tim, we lose 2 to the Cardinals. We take 1 of 4 against Milwaukee. We took 1 of 4 against Cincinnati, and then team plays today at 3:00. So, like, right at the end of this podcast, they're going to be throwing out first pitch. We're already 0-2 against Cincinnati in Cincy. These are games we have to win. We have to beat the division.
We're doing so poorly against the division. I mean, at my count, I got us 6 wins, 11 losses in our division alone. And that's where our predictions have to be thrown out the window, because we look at teams like Pittsburgh and we look at teams like Cincinnati and go, all right, we should be winning 3 out of 4 of those should be great. Like, upside is we sweep, downside is at the lowest we go, maybe they split against Cincinnati, and then they do even worse. They go 1 of 3 in Cincinnati. Yeah.
Funny thing about our division, Tim, the Brewers are at the top, 6.5 games. Like, so the Brewers are at the top. They're 37-26. You and I talked about the Brewers 2 weeks ago. Go back, listen to that podcast. We asked, should we be worried about them? Spoiler alert, yeah, we should, because they are clearly the best team in the Central. But they're not perfect. That's the thing. The rest of the division, Reds, Cubs, Cardinals, all 6.5 games back. The Pirates, 7 games back. Literally, the rest of the division is like right there deadlocked with the Brewers on top.
You can no longer look at a team like the Reds or the Pirates or even the Cardinals and consider ourselves like elitist or better than them.
Yeah.
We're all in the same hunt. We're playing probably worse than a lot of those teams. That's why we're at the record we have been, because the potential of this team is supposed to be a lot higher than we are doing. And, you know, we talk about, so how do you rectify that, right? Does Craig Counsell got to do something? Does he got to shake up the lineup?
Well, let's see. The lineup for today, I'm just going to use today's. Because the lineup's been
shaken up quite a bit. And when you bring in guys that are supposed to be B-level players in the game, your Talkmans, you know, your
so
pretty much him is the only one. Your Bushes, you know, like those guys are coming through and they're playing and they're making a case for their own thing. And then the guys that are supposed to be the stars, the Bellingers, the Suzukis, the Haps, they're not making a great case for their position.
So I will say this: we are getting a shakeup today in the lineup. Lineups are confirmed for today's game. I know that when this comes out tomorrow, you guys will know the outcome of the Cub game on Saturday. But Wisdom led off yesterday. He's leading off again. Here's a big change though, Tim. Suzuki, first off, Seiya, not playing today. He is not in the lineup. Morel is being moved up from batting fourth in the order. He's going to bat second. Then we got Belly is going to stay.
Is he playing or DHing?
He's DHing. Belly's going to be.
I like that better.
So Wisdom's at third, leading off. Morel's moving up to play where Seiya was. So he's going to be 2, DHing. Belly is going to be playing center field. He stays in the 3-hole. Moving up to 4, playing shortstop will be Swanson. Then Happ will be in left field. He stays the same. Talkman moves down to where Swanson was. He'll play right, but he'll be in the 6-hole. Then 7, playing second base, David Bodie. Then Michael Bush at first in the 8-hole, and then Jan Gomes catching for Ben Brown today. And Gomes will be playing catcher, obviously.
I don't hate the lineup. At this point, like, you can't. Do we have a rock? Somebody we can definitely rely on all the time.
It should be Bellinger or Swanson.
It should be Bellinger.
Mm-hmm.
It should be, for the money we're paying him, Swanson should be somewhere in the consistency of a 260 average.
Yeah.
I love the guy to death. We're both Morel stands here, but a 190 average is not going to cut it up here.
No.
Even though if you hit at your average, your every 2 weeks walk-off homer.
Yeah.
We can't have an Adam Dunn, man. We need a guy that can get on base and produce runs too, not just hits.
Yeah. And
so that's where I want to stick Morel, get the third base out of his head, stick him at the DH permanently. I don't know who's going to fill in that role. Patrick Wisdom, well, we've probably seen the last of Nick Madrigal for the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, now with Wisdom back.
Bodie's supposed to be a backup third baseman too, so you still got a hole there defensively, but you're protecting, I mean, Wisdom and Morel are kind of the same guy at this point. Good bat, average glove. Different kind of player, but like I kind of want to keep them both on the team.
I just I look at this and it's like, okay, also out today, Nico is not playing. So Seiya and Nico, two guys that healthy, you usually in, they're out today. Is it a lineup change? You're the one that, Tim, you have some of the batting stats. I'm bringing all the pitching stuff today. What is it as simple as, hey, we just need to change the lineup and find out what works?
Sometimes, but that can only work when everybody's buying in and taking the thing seriously. I think benching guys for not producing is a good motivator for that.
Yeah.
Guys make dumb errors in the outfield. Pull them. Sit them for the next game. Make an example. Make a statement. Well, yeah. I mean, show guys that we're not effing around here. This is serious. We're in it. We're in the middle of the season. It might wake people up. But I don't know. I don't really know what you do. You just keep trying what you try, Mixing up the lineup can only get you so far.
Yeah.
The guy still has to hit if you move him up the lineup.
Well, and that's the thing. You move him up the lineup, he's going to get more at bats. So, like, moving Morel from 4 to 2,
but it might expose him also.
That's what I'm saying.
I wouldn't mind PCA leading off. Like, whatever.
Yeah, he's not even in the lineup.
Yeah. That's another thing, when they do put him in the lineup, I think that shuffles everybody around to where some people are going to be left off the at-bat list here. And it's probably going to be the guys that deserve to get at-bats.
Yeah.
Because they're not the highest paid, because they're not the names on the team. But those are the guys that are really coming through for us. The Talkmans, the Michael Bushes. I would say Amaya, but he's playing like a backup catcher right now. So
yeah.
He's off my list.
And I will say Seiya and Horner, maybe the reason why they're not in the lineup haven't been is because they're both listed as day-to-day. Madrigal is also listed day-to-day, but let's be honest, with Wisdom and Bodie up, maybe, like he's you gone. Said, we've seen the last. But like you look at the outfielders, Hap, Talkman, Belly, Suzuki, PCA. That's 5 people, 3 spots. If you're going to have Morel DH, because Morel's taking the DH.
If you're going to have Morel DH.
So you got 5 people, 3 spots. Bellinger, no question. Seiya healthy, no question. It's that last spot.
Well, Bellinger also has that sidestep to first base too. That he could pull.
Then you're taking Michael Bush out of the lineup.
So if we're talking about people getting robbed of their at bats, is it one of those outfielders or is it Bush?
Hi, everybody. Just want to take a quick moment out of today's podcast to tell you about our sponsor for today, BETUS, a sports book that has it all, whether it's basketball, hockey, football, soccer, whatever you like to bet on, BETUS has you covered. And they are offering our viewers and listeners today a 125% sign-up bonus just for using our link down below in the description. So go ahead, use that link down below and get your 125% sign-up bonus, BETUS. And now, let's get back to the podcast. I mean, Bush has proved himself. Like, Bush has proved himself this year.
Bush has proved himself. Talkman has proved himself. I'm about to say it 10 more times. Talkman. The guy is leading the team with the average and OBP, but it's still only 268, Ricky.
I love the Palatine Pounder.
There's nobody hitting over 268 on this team.
Yeah. I will
I never thought that at the beginning of this podcast when we started talking about this team, I didn't think we'd have this big of a slump offensively.
You know what? You brought up a fun game. Let's do something really quick.
Go ahead.
I am going to throw out the team, their divisional teams. You tell me what average. I'm going to give you the team, the player. You tell me what do you think their average is? So
wait, the highest average on the team?
No, yeah, I'm going to give you the player. I'll give you the team. You try to tell me what they're batting, what their average is. What was Talkman's again? Just so we have that as a reference.
268 with a 372 on base percentage.
Okay. For the Reds, Jake, is it Fraley, the right fielder? It's not Farley. Fraley. He is their leading average. What do you think it is?
This is a tough game, by the way.
Yeah, I like it though.
I would say in the 280s.
289.
Okay.
How many people do you think they have above 258?
Not many, because the Reds are very similar to the Cubs.
2. Fraley and Tyler Stevenson. Stevenson's a 266.
Yeah.
But like Fraley, 289 on base percentage of 348.
That's not a great
Stevenson on base, 377. Slugging for Stevenson, 439.
That's a good,
yeah.
Guy can hit.
Yeah. The Cardinals. Let me give you the name so you have it. All right, he is definitely not leading the team in average. This is a good one. Mason Wynn, the shortstop.
Mason Wynn. The shortstop. Mason Wynn probably, again, I can't see him hitting 300, but he at his peak, he's probably hitting 292. Right now, he's probably 283.
310.
310. Get the heck out of here.
310 with an on-base percentage of 361.
Yeah, he came from the Giants, I believe.
Yeah. And they have 4 total players above 258. He's batting 310. Wilson Contreras, before his injury, was batting 280. You have Alec Burleson, the left fielder, 278. Ivan Herrera, catcher, batting 267. And then you have Nolan Arenado. Like, that's the thing with the Cardinals. They have these guys performing.
Guys can hit.
Arenado and Goldschmidt are not. Once those two figure it out, we may have problems. Because Nolan Arenado and Goldschmidt, people might say, he's on the decline. Cardinals might trade him.
Goldschmidt is what, 38 years old too?
But Nolan Arenado is not going to bat 241 for the entire season, Tim. He's eventually going to figure it out. He is that kind of a player. It's why they traded for him from the Rockies. And then the Pirates.
I see the comparison you're making. You know, look at all these other teams in the division, especially that are just by the numbers on the books. You look at nothing else. Offensively better than us.
Now we
were supposed to be an offensive team.
I'm gonna say this: the last team. I'm gonna give you two because it's a little tricky. The leading average on the Pirates is Nick Gonzalez, but he's only played 25 games, 91 plate appearances.
Doesn't matter.
The second one is Connor Joe, who's had 200 at bats.
The right fielder?
First baseman, outfield. He's a Bellinger guy. What do you think Connor Joe's average is?
298.
270.
All right.
You also have Brian Reynolds.
I can't guess these.
259. No, but the point is, the guessing is like, hey, let's have a little fun. But the point is, these teams in the division have at least you need two guys batting above that. And in some cases, like the Cardinals, 4 guys batting above that?
Yeah.
Like, the thing that I think that we're not going to figure out today is how do they fix it? And I think there's a problem that we're going to get to, but I want to take a little shift, Tim.
Okay.
To the other side of the ball, the pitching. And there are 3 guys that I kind of have a problem with. I'll ask you, do you want to start with the starters or the bullpen?
Can we take a detour from the detour?
Go ahead. Hit me.
Bullpen. When do we have an expectation when Merriweather is coming back?
Ooh, let me look that up. As I am in the GM, the front office, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you always say, Tim.
Well, you work for them, so.
I wish. Julian Merriweather? Is that what we're?
Julian.
Because
boy, could we use him right about now.
Oh.
I heard Azalea went to the 60-day.
Yep, he's on the 60-day deal.
And Almonte is still out.
Yeah, everything that I'm seeing is from like April. We've had no updates on Merriweather.
It's a crying shame. Then you know what, Rick? Start with the bullpen.
So the bullpen to me, there's one guy that maybe I'm harping on him too much, but I feel like every podcast we have that one guy from the bullpen where it's like, it's your spotlight to be complained about today. And
it's a complaint podcast. It's the complaint cast.
And for me, Hayden Wisniewski, he's not that guy, pal. He's not that guy. Because, Tim, I look at it and it's like he had he's got some gems, like 2 appearances against the Brewers where he came in for 2/3 and a third, got us out. Against the Reds, pitched an inning, only gave up a hit. But both times against the White Sox, he pitched 1 inning game 1, gave up a home run, a solo home run. And then the next night, what does he do? Oh, we just took the lead. I'm feeling confident. Lou Bob up at the plate. Let me just throw one right at there, right in the wheelhouse, Tim. Right at the wheelhouse.
First pitch too, right?
My grandmother, who's dead, could have hit that over the wall.
Yeah.
It infuriates me. Like,
No, I remember watching that game, and I threw my remote in the air, and I said, I'm done. And of course, I still watch the game.
Well, yeah, you still watch the game because you're a fan. But like, here's the thing. People are gonna say, Ricky, you're being too over dramatic about this. And here's why I harp on Hayden in this podcast is I don't expect anything special from you. All I expect from you is, hey, I need you to pitch an inning and get through it clean. That's it. That's the bare minimum. At most, hey, you're going to inherit a runner on first or second. I need you to get 1 or 2 outs. Bare minimum. Bare minimum.
And Wisniewski is just the latest example of a guy not doing what he's supposed to do out of the bullpen. But he's one of the main examples of a guy that should be considered a 1-inning pitcher.
Yeah.
We have so many guys in the bullpen that should not go beyond 1 inning. 5 batters maximum, and that's, I think, the rule until you can pull somebody else out. But, like, there's nobody you can trust in that bullpen to go beyond that, to do multiple innings. Maybe not nobody, but he is not one of them. So stop putting him in that situation.
Yeah.
Put him in 1 inning. I don't care if he does great, if he does, like, put him in for that 1 inning and then take him out. Get his confidence back. Get him to be that kind of 7th inning specialist or whatever the heck we need.
I'm quickly.
I think they do that too much with all these guys.
I'm doing some math here because let's see. I'm going to round down. All right. So, like, if you look at it this way, he's given up 12 runs this year, 35 innings he's pitched. He's given up about a third of a run an inning, if we look at it that way, but 30 hits, 8 walks, 8 walks. Like, if you were a starter,
8 walks bothers me more than 30 hits.
If you were a starter, it'd be like, okay. But, like, bullpen, in a bullpen as weak as ours, you have to be better than this. And then, like, let's move over to the starters, because the big guy I have a problem with in the starting rotation, Tim.
Don't say it.
Justin Steele.
Dude.
Like, here's the question I have for you. And I've pondered this. I don't know what the answer is. I'm going to see if you can infer what you think the answer is.
Hit me.
Does Justin Steele, is this a sucky year for him? Does he just suck this year? Or
no.
Is there lingering issues from that injury he suffered game 1? And he's trying to play through it.
Neither. He's going to maybe not be, Cy Young contender this year. But he's working back into it. I don't think he's pitching badly. I think a lot of the runs he gives up are unearned. He had that game with
he's got 25 runs, 20 of them earned.
Yeah, he had that one game where 4 runs were unearned because I think it was Suzuki.
Yeah, that was the Reds.
Was the Amaya pass ball? I can't remember.
Yeah,
but no, he's not pitching ace style yet, but he's still coming off the injury. I think it's too early to call him bust. Or I know you're not calling him bust.
I'm not saying bust, but is it an injury thing? Is it hey, we need to give him more time because of this injury, or because of maybe it's like it's not lingering him enough not to play, but is it lingering him enough to affect his
to give him some leeway?
Yeah. Or like, hey, don't harp on him.
I think so. I think we're still in that. Come July and he's still doing this, you probably have a point. But I mean, he's pitching 4 times a month, 4 or 5 times a month. Let's get a few more in there after his return. And let's assess after that. I don't think. He's still striking guys out, man. He's got 12 over his last 2 starts.
Yeah, he's got 43 on the year.
Yeah.
I just
so I think it's too early to pull that trigger on him.
Well, and maybe it's because maybe I'm thinking this way because it's a compounding thing. Teams not hitting, giving up 3 runs, giving up 5 runs. I know that one of them was earned, so okay, the June 1st one I'll push to the side. But even in May, the last start of May, phenomenal. 7 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs. I know we're not going to get that every time.
But that's his A plus.
But that's what we need. We need close to that. I need what we were talking about before the show. I need what you see from number 1, number 2 guys to where it's like, okay, at most a bad game from you is 2 runs, maybe 3. 3 is like, whoa, he had a terrible game.
And I don't want to misconstrue this. You're not wrong for being disappointed in
But like I look at it in May, Pittsburgh, Atlanta. He in all 3 of those games gave up 6 hits, 6 runs, 5 runs, 5 runs. Yeah, and that Pittsburgh one, okay, one of them was unearned. That was the 5th unearned run because 4 of them happened in that red game. Yeah, he was striking dudes out, not the first game, 3, but 7 and 5. But it's just, I can't have that from Steele. Is he going to be a race? Is Shota a race? It doesn't matter because I'm going to use an example that is me just picking from the top. I'm picking from one of the best Cubs teams that we've ever watched, Tim, to where it's like,
here we go.
You look at the 2016 team, and that's what we want again. We want the World Series. Not saying this team is a World Series caliber team, but that's what I want. So what I look at is we had 3 guys that year. Lester, Arrieta, Hendricks. Lester was the ace, but Arrieta, he was really good. Like, we need, like, Arrieta had a 3.10 ERA, which isn't perfect. But he was striking dudes out. He did walk a lot, 76 walks that year. But we need him to be solid. We can't be having him give up 6 runs a game consistently.
What I think what you're describing is you need a starting pitcher that the other team's going to fear. I mean, they circle that on the calendar and they go, "Oh no, we
should be
we got a hit against Steele this year."
Yeah.
Well, it has become Shota. You're right. It has become Shota this year, and that's absolutely universal. I would think every team in the MLB goes, "Oh crap, we gotta hit against Shota this weekend."
Yeah.
I do think Shota's superhero cape might fall off a little bit, and that's no crap talking on him. You know, it's just you can't expect.
I got notes on Shota, and it's not about Shota; it's about someone else. For those of you who can't see it says Shota wasn't going to stay at 0.75 ERA.
So it's unrealistic to expect that out of him. You know, it doesn't really matter though. Like, to me personally, it doesn't really matter who the ace is. It's kind of an arbitrary statement. Like, there's plenty of teams that don't have an ace, but like because they're the best pitcher, they go, "Oh, that's our ace." You know, it's like it's equivalent to like in basketball when they go, "Who's our superstar?" and they just say, "Oh, it's the best player on the team." But it's like, is that guy really a superstar in the league? You know?
Yeah. I look at it, and right now I'm going to use this as an example. I took the best teams in the league right now, and you look at like the Yankees. Their first 3 guys, Rodon, Carlos Rodon, Marcus Stroman. Both of those guys are pitching solid. They're not pitching fantastic. They're not Cy Young, but they are solid. Now, the asterisk next to the Yankees is their 5th starter, Luis Gil. He's pitching like an ace. He is probably their best pitcher right now, and he's their 5th guy in the rotation.
So far, yeah, he's been pitching very good.
You look at the Guardians. Their top 2 guys, Tristan McKenzie, Tanner Beebe. Little inconsistent, but they're solid right there at the top. Seattle, they're a team that is led by Luis Castillo, George Kirby. Those 2 guys are solid. If those 2 guys are starting, I'm pretty confident looking at the betting lines like today. Castillo's pitching today. I'm confident they're going to beat the Royals today. Like, that's just that's what I need from them.
So even from a gambler's perspective, which isn't an outside perspective, it's as in tuned as me or you are, which also you are a gambler.
I am.
You don't have faith in a lot of guys on this team to be like, "Oh, that's a lock." Even Shota anymore?
Shota, I'll be honest, he has burned me the last 2 games.
Sure.
Because
But I feel like that's him coming back down to earth.
Yeah, well,
does that also burn you on like he's not a lock anymore if I was going to put money on this game?
I don't think the Cubs are a lock. I think the only pitcher right now that I have been like, yes, I will bet on them when he's pitching is Javier Assad. And that sounds weird.
Interesting.
He's the one that's like, okay, I'll feel good. Like today, I don't feel good betting on the Cubs, so I'm not. And obviously, I'm the type of guy, I don't know how you are, Tim, but I'm the type of guy, when it comes to my team, if I ain't confident that they're going to win, I'm not betting against them. I'm not. I know some people are like, "Oh, bet against them. You'll hedge your happiness because if they lose, you'll get money." Nah.
I hate that.
I'm upset because my team lost. So if I'm not gonna bet with my team, I just don't bet that game. But like the last team,
that's a terrible fan that does that.
The last team I was gonna say, and they're kind of yet again the reason why I think they're gonna go to the World Series.
Is it another American League team?
No, it's a National League team. I think this is the team that could challenge the Dodgers for the NL pennant, the Phillies. Zach Wheeler, every time he's pitching, Phillies are going to win. Aaron Nola, every time he's pitching, Phillies are going to win. Even their third guy, Ranger Suarez, he's in like today. Oh, they're going to beat the Mets.
I like Suarez a lot. The 46 win Phillies you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't they that much?
Here, let's see. They have 44. Today, if today's
Phillies
score holds, they're up 6-2 in the 7th. Top of the morning to you over there in London. I think it's nighttime actually over there. Speaking of the Phillies, really quick.
Yeah, we definitely have fans over there.
Speaking of the Phillies, really quick. Did you hear what Nick Castellanos, former Cub, said this week in an interview for the London series?
Did he say something about a deep drive to right
field? No.
Okay.
With all seriousness, he's like, yeah, and I like how the fans are even here and the kids are here in their Harry Potter costumes. It's like, Nick, those are their school uniforms, dude. And he said it in all seriousness. He wasn't making a joke either.
Oh, what a cool dummy.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. But like, I have three teams. I have three teams left. All of them in the National League. The Braves, Fried, Morton, Sale. There's 3 right there. The Brewers are kind of like they got Peralta. It's the only one I'm afraid of. Like Colin Ray has been. He's working it there.
Kind of a tweener.
Yeah, he's kind of there, but like Peralta's the only one that I'm worried about. And then the Dodgers, obviously, like, it's weird. On paper, their starters should be all scary. But Yamamoto hasn't been scary. Glasnow's probably their best pitcher. Walker Buehler hasn't been. Like, these guys are going to figure it out. The Dodgers and the Phillies will probably be our NLCS this year unless something drastically changes. But that's what I need from Steele and Shota are the guys I'm looking at. When they're on the card to pitch, I need to be like, okay, today's going to be a win. Or have that confidence.
Do you not expect that from Assad?
I'm starting to. Like I said, I'm starting to.
What gets you over that hump with him?
With him, it's just a consistency thing. If he keeps doing what he's doing, because let me pull up Assad really quick.
Which he seems to be doing.
Yeah, and dude, ever since we like ragged on him and that, well, we didn't really rag on him, but like we kind of ragged on him.
Well, and he wasn't doing bad when we ragged on him.
Mm-hmm. But like
the only bad thing we had to say against him was his pitch count.
Yeah, so like here's the thing with Assad. The last start he had, yes, he gave up 5 runs on 7 hits, not good, but he struck out 7 against the Reds.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game against the Cardinals. And I'm pointing out his 2 worst starts recently.
You know, it's really funny. You're describing the same outing that Steele had.
But wait, here's the thing. So, yes, the Cardinals, 4 runs, 5 hits, but he struck out 8. However, here's the thing. I look at Assad since May. So, May 5th for Assad.
Yep.
May 6th for Steele. Steele has 1, 2, 3. I know that they weren't all earned, but I'm going to say it. 4 games of 5 or more runs given up in that game. Assad, has 1. And Assad, here's the thing that's also true.
It does matter because 3 of those were unearned.
Okay, but even take to the side, he has 3 games of 5 or more, where Assad has 1 game of 4, 1 game of 5. The rest of them, the Reds, yeah, we lost 5-4. Not his fault. He only gave up 2 runs, struck out 7. That's the bullpen's fault. Against Atlanta twice, 6 innings, 4 hits, shut him out in his 6 innings, 7 Ks. The next time where it's like, okay, usually the second game they have, the team's hitting better because it's like, okay, we've seen you. We've actually have tape now of us against you, what to prepare for. Pitches 4 1/3. Yeah, he gives up 3, 2 of them earned, but he's still that's what I need, 2 to 3. 3 is the most.
What do you mean? Yeah, he gives up 3, but
that's what I need. That's what I need though. 3 is like the max of like, okay, that should be your worst game. Yes, he's had games like Steele, but like the Pirates, 4 1/3, only gave up 2 runs. We win that game 7-2. Against Milwaukee, 6 shutout innings with 4 hits. I have more faith in Assad's potential moving forward this year than I do Steele's. They're kind of like Steele's going like this, Assad's going like this. Like the upward trajectory compared to the downward trajectory. He's consistently better than Steele right now.
Oh, man, you gave me something to ponder there.
Yeah.
That's very interesting, what you just said.
I mean, that's what it is, though. Like,
we'll see what happens. I mean, I guess that's really all we can do, right?
Well, and I will say this: Steele, I'm not saying that he's done. I'm not saying that I want him to pitch well. Obviously, he's on the team.
No, I don't think anybody thinks that you're calling for his trade or anything like that.
I will say, you know what is sitting in the back of my head with Steele? There's a part of me that totally feels like season's going to be over, or like he'll get shut down with like an injury later in the season. And you know what's going to come out? It's going to come out that, hey, you know what? Thought I was ready. I really wasn't. The injury was kind of lingering with me and affecting me to where, like, if it's that, like, neither of us know that. We're not with the team. But if it is,
you're with the team, though.
The one thing I would say is if it's the case, dude, just sit, get healthy. I would rather you sit, get healthy than try to, like, this team. I would love if they won the World Series, but right now I don't think we're a World Series contender. Hell, we might not even be a playoff contender anymore if we continue to play the way we're going.
I think if you ended the season today, we wouldn't be in the playoffs.
We're not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If the season ended today,
like, I think letting Steele sit a season, like, you know, like, hey man, you're not ready, take all the time you can, is essentially throwing the white flag on this.
Yeah.
Which I'm not ready to do yet.
No, I'm not saying that unless it's the white flag behind you. I'm not saying that, but it's just like, I don't know. This is like we said, dog days of the season. We get into June,
which are typically
we get in
July, in like August, September.
Yeah.
Crazy. We're talking about dog days this early,
but like here, like the season's into 3 separate things.
We're in a ditch.
You got You got April and May, where you're super excited about your team. You're sky high about your team. Then you got June and July, where it's like, okay, this is where the ebbs and flows are going to happen. Then you have August and September of like, all right, this is where we like, you make the push. Those are the 3 phases of the season. The one thing I will get to, and this will kind of segue us over, Tim, we haven't talked about Shota. I will say this. Shota obviously has not pitched well his last 2 starts. Against Milwaukee, sure. 4 1/3, 8 hits, 7 runs, all earned, 2 home runs, 1 strikeout. That was the interesting part to me. Against the White Sox, 4 1/3 again, 7 hits, 5 runs, 1 of them earned, 1 home run, struck out 6. But the White Sox, what are you gonna say? I don't want to put this all on Shota. I feel like Craig Counsell mismanaged Shota Imanaga. There was that game against the Cardinals. It was the day after we recorded our last podcast.
Okay.
Got postponed because of rain.
Right.
Shota was supposed to pitch that game. Instead of just saying, all right, we're going to have you pitch the next day, and everyone moves over like one extra day for the start, he had to wait from, what was it? He waited 11 days. He pitched on the 18th, had to wait till the 29th.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
It's
I don't know
stupid.
Why I don't know why.
It's straight up stupid.
That's a council thing that like he should definitely get some crap for. That's all I can say is it didn't make sense to me.
And now I'm sitting here wondering, okay, how do we now magically snap Shota out of this? Because it's back-to-back games of bad performances.
How do you snap him out of it? I mean, there's not really much you can do except keep putting him out there, unless you're considering altering the rotation to put him against an easier pitcher, an easier matchup, or a easier team to pitch against. But I'm looking at our schedule.
We don't got a lot of
name
those.
An easy team on the schedule coming up. You know, like
the easy.
Sorry, Shota. Sometimes you got some slumps and you got to work through them. Like at a certain point, you got to be like, hey, man. You gotta you gotta perform still.
The next easy team we have is June 20th.
You're the one throwing the ball.
Yeah.
You're the one throwing the ball, man. And if the guy hits it, that's not on anybody else but you. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, are we crazy? Like that's just that is what it is.
His next two starts are tomorrow, so he'll pitch Sunday. As this podcast goes up, he's pitching today as you guys are listening. And then he pitches June 15th. One against the Reds, one against the Cardinals. He's scheduled.
Oh, he does it. He's
June
got 2 Saturdays in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Sunday and a Saturday.
Oh, he's pitching tomorrow.
Yeah, because Taeon's or not Taeon. Ben Brown's today.
Oh, speaking of Taeon, Jesus.
He's pitching on
send that
on
guy
Tuesday.
to the pen.
Like,
send him to the bullpen.
Well, and this kind of segues us into, and I'll say, for all the struggles we've talked about the hitting, we've talked about the pitching.
We haven't talked about the fielding or the bad base running either. By the way, fans,
go ahead.
Bad fielding, bad base running by these teams as well. So,
how much of this is on Craig Counsell?
A lot, dude. I don't think he's holding people accountable.
If you had to give me a percentage, what's the percentage? I'm saying like at least 80.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I like a minimum 50, minimum 50-50.
minimum 75, Tim.
The guy is not holding anybody accountable. You make it. Sorry, you make an error. You take the guy out of the team. You replace him with somebody else. Show him that is not acceptable on this team. You make a bad base running decision like Suzuki did when he was going from second to third on a ball hit to the third baseman when there's already a runner on. You take him out of the game. You have to keep your players accountable. It drives me crazy, man. It drives me crazy when a manager coddles players like that.
I'm gonna ask.
You can't. As soon as you start punishing people, everybody's gonna notice, and everybody's gonna fall in line.
I'm gonna ask you this: does this team not have? Oh, how do I say this? Do we not have that wise veteran on this team? And what I say about that is, do we need, or is it because we don't have like a David Ross, who like he was the guy where during that World Series team wasn't really playing a lot, spot played, catched for Leicester obviously, but he was the guy like a second coach in that, like the player coach kind of a thing? Or is it because Craig Counsell isn't like Joe Madden, where Joe Madden was, all right, we're in a rut, let me do something non-baseball related to get our minds off of it, get us clean slate looking forward. Like, I'm not expecting Craig to be Joe Madden, but can maybe he learn something from what Joe Madden used to do? And like, hey, this team needs like hey, instead of doing practice today, we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something as a team. We're gonna have a team activity, and just like on an off day, like, hey, we're gonna forget about baseball for a day, get our minds off it, get away, and then come back.
It's always a weird circumstance where that type of activity will work on the team. It has to be the right guy standing at the right time for the right activity. Counsell is not that guy.
No,
Counsell is not a buddy.
You're not that guy, pal.
Coach.
You're not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. But but he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing either. He's supposed to be that. I don't need a backup catcher to be my veteran manager coach. Yeah, talking point to the young guys. He's supposed to be that guy because he was a player, and he's not that old. Yeah, how old is he? He's 50s? Not that far removed from the game. But I don't think he's holding up his end of the bargain on that. I think he's coddling and he's chalking it up to, well, you win some, you lose some. And he's writing it off after that. I think he's kind of being lazy. He's 53. I think he's at the sit and see what happens stage, and I don't like that. You can't do that, man. There's only, dude, we're halfway through the season.
Well, yeah, we're pretty much halfway through the season.
You can't be that nonchalant about what happens. I was watching him in the post-game interview.
We got about a month and change to the All-Star break.
How about that missed bunt that Amaya tried in the 8th? And he's like, sometimes you miss them, sometimes you get them, and we're gonna work on that. It's like, that's what you got, man. Rile them up, call people out for making mistakes. I bet you they stop making them. They respect you. I bet they do until you start not demanding respect. I think we need. Okay, I know what we need. Do you remember the first year of Lou Piniella?
Yes.
So we started out in a very similar situation. A lot of talent, new, talented manager.
God, I love Lou.
We slumped for pretty much until May. Lou Piniella didn't do crap the whole year until one day he snapped.
Was that the
out
one
there
where
and he grabbed third base and he threw it out into the
and he was like
stands.
He was like kicking the dirt.
And then the team went on a tear.
Oh, what game was that?
And I'm not saying Counsell needs to go out there and start throwing bases around, because he's already gotten thrown out once this year. But like, something needs to happen, man. He needs to energize these guys and be like, hey, go that extra mile. Keep doing that extra thing, because right now what you're doing doesn't cut it. You're swinging at balls outside the strike zone. Stop that. Walk more. If they're throwing outside, take the pitch. Go for that easy out. We're doing money ball here. Come on. What are we doing?
Sorry, I'm looking it up, Tim. I'm trying to find, where he was like in the face of the umpire and he was like
kicking dirt on his feet.
And now I gotta let me pull up that season. So that was the 07 season.
Well, you gotta show that right here on the video then.
Well, no, I'm pulling up the schedule. Dude,
that was 06, I think. But
no,
regardless, Counsell is disappointing me. I think he needs to rile these guys up.
So I'm just gonna use the same as today. Like, today's June 8th. Coming into June 8th, the Cubs are I think we're like around 500, under 500. We were 500 after the White Sox series. We're what, a game or two under 500 now?
30 and 32 or something?
Yeah.
Something like that?
We were 26 and 32 at that time. And then it was, dude. And then it was like, okay.
It's almost to the day.
And then like by June 21st, it's like, okay, we're 32 and 39. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We went 12 and 3 after June 21st. And by the All-Star break, we're 44 and 43. And we played ourselves right back into, hey, we're a winning team again. Like, I don't think Craig's going to do that, though. I don't think he's going to be the guy to, hey, let me make a big statement. Let me go out there and get ejected. And it's like,
but that's not what I'm saying. He's got to do that in his own way, though.
What way is that then? Because I don't know. I don't
know Craig Counsell that well, man.
I think he's too soft.
We all knew what Lou Piniella was. He's a hothead. He threw his hat at umpires.
Yeah, what you're saying
we
is,
didn't see that. And then when he did it, we all, cool. He's with us. He's invested. Yeah. He's not just getting a paycheck. Is Counsell invested in this? Does he really want to win?
I will say this. For everything bad, because Dusty Baker's not my favorite dude. Like, I don't think Dusty Baker's that great. Like, everyone wants to put him on a pedestal. I don't. I would be
one of those guys that puts him on a pedestal.
Right now, I would take Dusty Baker over Craig Counsell. Dusty Baker would at least come out and call the team out in the press conference.
Well, you tell Assad, hey, man, you're going to 8 innings today. You better make it work.
Yeah. Like,
I don't care what you're at. You're going to 8 innings. So be conservative.
And it's fine to be soft-spoken. Like, Joe Madden was soft-spoken. But yet again, Joe Madden was real. Joe Madden didn't give the stereotypical, like, oh, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Thanks, Craig. I can't figure out life that's how it works. So, sometimes you wake up, sometimes you sleep in.
It's the classic joke that me and you have about when we're listening to sports radio and they go, oh, I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. Like, oh, will we? Will we just have to wait and find out? No crap. That's what everybody does.
Oh, it's just like, Tim, last thing we're going to do on this podcast, because I'm going to go crazy talking about Craig Counsell.
I know. I'm yelling too much. My head hurts.
I'll say this. This is the last thing I'll ask you before the last part is there a possibility that Cub fans will call for Craig Counsell's head after the season if it's bad enough?
Me and you might.
Well, I will. I've called for many heads.
Yeah, we're pretty ruthless in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but not to a real way. Not in a real way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be heard. It's not going to be honored by the GM or anything like that. It's going to be. It'll be just talk. And probably talked down in by the Trib or whatever newspaper.
The Trib
wants to push that
agenda. Is that the word?
What does he have? 3 years on his contract?
Something like that. He's got to have 3 or 4.
It's kind of the problem with it being this early in the years. You know, we're reacting, sometimes overreacting. It's tough to tell.
Well, Tim, we're going to end the show like we usually do, and that's looking ahead to the schedule for the Cubs. So until our next podcast, which will be in 2 weeks, which we will be recording on June 22nd, teams we're going to be playing: 2 games against the Reds, a 3-game series against the Rays, a 3-game series against the Cardinals, a 3-game series against the Giants, and then 1 game against the Mets before our next podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
All right. So, dude, I really don't know about today.
You want me to go first?
No, I just don't know about today. Like, Ben Brown, I like Ben Brown.
Well,
but the team,
thing,
I don't think is playing well.
I'm pretty sure we already predicted today.
Did we do today?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I have us taking a loss.
Yeah, I do too. That's what I'm going to say. We win tomorrow, lose today. I'm going to say with Tayon, Assad, and Steele pitching. I'm going to say we only take 1 against the Rays. So what? That's 2. So 2 and 3 after the Rays series. I'm going to say we'll be 4 and 5 after the Cardinal series. Ooh, this is where it gets tricky. I'll say 4 and 6 after the San Francisco series. 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Where am I? miss. So 1-1. So 0-1, 1-1. Then we'll probably go like, I don't know, 1-2, 2-2, 2-3. Then 2-4, 3-4, 3-5. Then 4-5, 5-5, 5-6. We'll be 6-6 by the next podcast. We'll have a good series against San Francisco. That'll be a tricky one. We'll win against the Mets on that Friday. Do not feel confident about the Rays and Cardinals. They are a better team. They are both better teams than us right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm a little bit less enthusiastic than you are. Mm-hmm. I don't have us winning today or tomorrow.
Okay. I want to go back to the Imanaga days of...
And based on how poorly we've done against the division, I also have us getting swept by the Cardinals.
Okay. I can understand
over the weekend at home, which is going to be brutal.
I'm hoping if Shota doesn't pick it up tomorrow, I'm hoping that Cardinal game snaps him out. 'Cause that would be irony. The team that screwed it up by not having the game against them snaps him back in to being dominant. But go ahead.
Sure. And then Wisniewski gives up that go-ahead homer because it'll be 1-0.
To Goldschmidt.
Imanaga's going to pitch great. It's going to be 1-0 going through the whole game. And then he 45 pitches.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got it going 4-8.
Okay.
I'm not very optimistic. I don't think we win many against Tampa Bay, but I do think we might take 2 against San Francisco.
San Francisco's the tricky one because it depends on who they're throwing. Like, so right now, Hicks is scheduled for game 1, and Jordan Hicks has been their best pitcher. So we might lose game 1. Game 1 right now is supposed to be is Assad Hicks. We may win. That might be a great pitching duel between Assad and Jordan Hicks.
Yeah, it could be.
The second game, though, I may bet the over. Logan Webb has not been that great. Steele has not been that great. And then what? That would mean Ben Braun is probably going to pitch game 3. I think Assad and
Ben
Brown.
Brown's going to the... it's going to be Wicks.
You think it's going to be Wicks? Wicks is back by that time?
Wicks is getting in. Ben Brown's going to the bullpen.
All right, then it's Wicks that game, and who knows?
Ben Brown gets to close.
And then the Mets would be Imanaga against the Mets at home, which I think Imanaga can pitch well against the Mets. What? He did it before. He did it before, but that was before the Craig Counsell mistake. Yeah,
we're looking at these based on the starting pitchers, right?
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
We need to have the lineup hit the ball for these guys to win.
Yeah, hitters got to do their job.
Do their job.
They got to do their job.
They're not doing their job right now.
No more this until they do their job. I'm making that declare. No more this out of me until they do their job.
All right.
You could still do it, but for me,
okay, cool.
No more of that until they do their job. But that is going to do it for the Wrecking Crew this week. Thank you guys for watching. Obviously, check out the Discord down below. Check out our Patreon page. Check out our sponsor, BETUS. Get your sign-up bonus. 125%, I believe they're giving us for first-time sign-ups down below. Hit that comment section, that like button, that subscribe button as well. You can check us out on Apple Podcasts.
Top-rated comment
Spotify
wins a
as well.
Nissan Altima on the shoulders of MVP Sports.
From Tim.
That'd be from the channel?
That'd be from Tim.
I have it written here that it's from the channel.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I don't have the money for a Nissan Rogue. Point for Tim. But that is going to do it for us. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Tim, it's been a blast being back with you. We'll be back in 2 weeks. As always, have a good day, everybody. As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.